So in the stunning and brave world that is known as the entertainment industry, ladies and gentlemen, we seem to have so many TV show hosts who like to come out with the most insane takes and push the liberal narrative onto everybody. And as we go further into the future and the times we're living in get more delusional, so does the rhetoric. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about this story involving John Oliver, the host of Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. And before I carry on any further, I just want to apologize on behalf of Britain for the woke nonsense you're going to hear. We're not all like this, trust me. Please. Our reputation just gets worse and worse, doesn't it? But on his show, nonetheless, he spoke about trans athletes and went on to claim, and get this, that there is apparently no safety issue when it comes to boys competing against girls in their sports. And it is so weird for people to be so focused on this issue. Yeah, mate, do you know what I personally find very weird is how somebody like you can get on TV with thousands watching and then lie about this issue. Lie like the facts don't exist. And then when they look themselves in the mirror, they probably feel no shame. That is very weird to me. Then again, that seems to be a requirement now for people to become a TV show host because so many of them, oh boy, they like to get on TV and lie to everybody's faces. Now, I'm just going to get straight into this clip of John Oliver saying some of the stupidest things you'll hear today. But before I do play this, if you could, as always, make sure to leave a like rating as it really helps out the video. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. Comment on this video, share this video, follow my socials down below in the description, and take a watch. This is insane. Massive understatement.
Ads on that one issue. And it was frustrating to see the Harris campaign fail to formulate a response, especially because it's pretty easy to do. Watch, I'll do it for you right now. As we've discussed before, there are vanishingly few trans girls competing in high schools anywhere. Even if there were more, trans kids, like all kids, vary in athletic ability, and there is no evidence they pose any threat to safety or fairness. It is very weird for you to be so focused on this subject. And finally, if you genuinely want to address the biggest concern for most girls who play high school sports, you'd be less worried about this and more about the creepy assistant volleyball coach who keeps liking their posts on Instagram.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but after watching that, I detect a high level of soy. It's kind of concerning that this is happening to men out there. Very feminine today, right? But what we just heard in that clip are all the classic talking points these people come out with. And when they talk about these issues that they don't like, they all sound the same. It's very emotional, very fast-paced. It's not happening. It's barely happening in high school. Yeah, mate, if it's happened once, it is enough. It shouldn't be happening at all. And if you actually go and research this issue, it is happening more than you think. Again, you know, they like to come out and say, oh, there's no evidence of a safety issue being there with boys competing in girls' sports, even though we've seen girls and women get injured in the past. I guess they're lying and they're just making it up, right? As everybody else does when they talk about this issue. Oh, it doesn't really exist. People are making it up. And get a grip, mate. All these people need to get a grip and realize what is actually going on. And they like to say as well, as you heard him say, oh, fairness is not being affected. Well, I guarantee you, biological facts, they would like to have something else to say about that. Now, this has obviously, as you would imagine, caught the attention of a lot of people, most notably J.K. Rowling. We all know where she stands on this issue, which is why the woke mob, every single day, they're wishing for her to be cancelled, but I don't think that's going too well at the minute, but this is what she said on X. Nothing about this feels good because John Oliver generously gave his time for my charity Lumos, and I liked him very much when I met him, but God knows, if you ever need an example of motivated reasoning and confirmation bias, this video is for you. An undoubtedly intelligent person spouts absolute BS to support something he wants to be true but isn't. Yeah, pretty much the definition of delusion there, a symptom all woke activists have. It's very strange, isn't it? Very odd. According to the UN, female athletes have lost nearly 900 medals to trans-identified men competing against them in women's sporting categories. Again, it's not happening. It's barely happening. This is just a myth, right? Girls have been ousted from teams to make way for boys. Women have suffered serious injury playing against trans-identified men. See Peyton McNabb mentioned below. Again and again, I've come up against men who argue exactly what Oliver does here, using the very same talking points. With a straight face, the Believe the Science guys will say, actually, we don't yet have enough data to say whether men and boys are stronger and faster than women and girls. The Be Kind crew can't see what the issue is. Why are you bothered? It only affects a tiny minority of females. To prove to their progressive credentials, and coincidentally, I'm sure, yeah, it is a big coincidence, isn't it? But they identify themselves against repercussions from cultural elites in the media, academia, and publishing who've showed themselves more than ready to kick people to the curb for failing to mouth the approved mantras. People with a lot to lose are currently prepared to make idiots of themselves. They'll stare unabashedly into the camera and insist that their audience eyeballs are incapable incapable of seeing what's plain as day, and that there's something wrong with the great unwashed for believing that girls are being robbed of opportunities and put at physical risk. If you want to tell the world you're happy to watch females suffer injury, humiliation, and the loss of sporting opportunities to bolster an elitist postmodern ideology embraced by a minute fraction of the world's population, fair enough, you're allowed your opinion. But if you've just told girls that they don't deserve fair sport, maybe rethink using the all too real and common sexual predation against young women as a punchline for your edgy closing joke. You know, everything she just said in that post is pretty much on the money. She says it how it is. The fact we have TV show hosts coming out with this when these are the same people who told everyone 4 years ago and still to this day, believe the science, you must, otherwise you're this, you're that, yet they don't want to believe the facts when it comes to biology, then that to them is opinion, and right-wing bigots are making things up. And John Oliver, this woke, unhinged TV host, as J.K. Rowling insinuated, has pretty much told his audience and the people watching at home that he is okay with the unfairness going on within girls' sports, women's sports, because it's not that much of an issue, it's not really happening, and there's not really a biological advantage, and fairness is not being affected, and people are weird for focusing on it, and then makes a terrible joke at the end to try and distract people from the issue that so many people care about. It is all about convincing people to ignore their own eyes and their own ears, and the woke liberals, leftists, they do this very easily. When they hear what people like John Oliver have to say on this issue, they repeat the same talking points. Oh, if a man says he is a woman, then he is a woman. There are no trans athletes in women's sports. Safety isn't an issue. Fairness isn't an issue. You're all making it up. It's barely happening. Robots, mate. And the most hypocritical thing these people do is talk about women's rights every single day. During the election, that's all they spoke about. Oh, Trump's going to take women's rights away. Yet when it comes to this issue and girls wanting the basic right to have fairness and safety in their sport, they ignored it. And you know, even when people within the Democrat Party come out and talk about this issue and they've suddenly changed their tune, what happens to them? People within their own party, they come after them. Fox News have reported Democrat who spoke out against trans athletes in women's sports comes under attack from own party. Embarrassing. Democratic House Representative Seth Moulton is doubling down after he sparked a debate in his party over transgender inclusion in women's sports. I've never had more people, parents, and by the way, a lot of LGBTQ community members reach out to me and say thank you for saying this, Moulton told the New York Times in an interview on Friday. Moulton, who has just won re-election, has sparked a debate around transgender athletes after he spoke out against his party's stance on trans athletes in women's and girls' sports. Moulton has defended his position in several interviews since then, inciting more and more backlash from his party members. Again, embarrassing. Some of them are just speaking authentically as parents. Some of them believe the trans movement has gone too far. It is imperiling the progress we've made, Moulton told the media outlet. Some of Moulton's opponents, including Salem City Councilor Kyle Davis, have called on the congressman to resign. And he goes on to say, we're certainly rejecting the narrative that trans people are to be scapegoated or fear-mongered against, Davis told the Times. If you know anything about the trans community, they don't see themselves as men, David continued. They don't see themselves as former men. Well, it doesn't really matter how they see themselves. If a dude one day says to himself, yeah, you know what, I'm going to identify as a woman, and it doesn't matter how many surgeries they get, etc., etc., they're still a man. Facts over feelings. The more the Democrats reject reality and stay on the side of delusion and align themselves with that, they'll just continue to lose. Again, nobody's complaining. And even after the election, there is no self-reflection from these people. But leave your thoughts down below nonetheless. Ladies and gentlemen, what are your thoughts on everything discussed in this video? I'd like to know. If you have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. Comment on this video, share this video, follow my socials down below in the description. But until next time, it has been your host JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace. One day I'm going to do that and the hat's going to fly off. That'll be funny, won't it? Funnier than John Oliver.